Hi Virgos, and welcome to the Mother Tressa channel. If you're already familiar, you already know what to expect, so welcome back. But if you're new to this channel, welcome in, and definitely feel safe enough to be yourself wherever you are energetically, be it positive, negative, or neutral. It really doesn't matter so long as you leave better than you came. Like this video, share it with other Virgos that you know. But also, if you like the vibe, then subscribe and turn on that post notification so you're made aware as soon as I upload. Let's get into it. They're doing construction outside of my window, so if you happen to hear noise, that's what it is. I am so sorry if it is disruptive, but I do feel like what's going on externally is something that you guys are doing internally anyway, so there's purpose in it. Just bear with me, guys. I didn't want to skip today and not do your reading because you share Mercury with another zodiac sign, namely Gemini, you know what I'm saying? And so there are cycles where you guys won't have your reading be uploaded, and it just wouldn't be fair. But I'm definitely getting the sense that you guys are under construction or a work in progress, or that's going to be a theme that comes up in maybe certain relationships that you have, that you hold near and dear to you. You have the Chariot that's sitting at the bottom of the deck, and that's where that near and dear is coming from, because again, the Chariot is associated with the zodiac sign of Cancer. But let's look into your love matters. You have the Three of Swords that just ripped. Okay, followed by the Fountain and the Three of Cups. Who did I just upload? Was it Cancer? I think I uploaded Cancer's reading on Monday. I know that the moon is in a water sign. I think it's in Scorpio, and we're about to experience the full moon in Scorpio. So I feel like there's going to be an eclipse of sorts in matters of your heart here. But what came through in Cancer's reading was potentially awakening to the fact that you are more fluid than maybe you are wanting to accept, because it might be something that is foreign to you at this time. You have the Fool at the bottom of the deck with the Four of Wands. But I feel like it's definitely worth exploring at this time if you have any questions surrounding your sexuality. Some of you guys, you feel like you're not finding success in your relationships because you need something that isn't as conformative as an exclusive monogamous relationship is concerned. I don't see that you guys are really suited to be in that type of dynamic, because you like that freedom of being able to explore. So that is on the table for some of you guys. Some of you are feeling an inkling about a certain relationship that may be tainted. If you aren't into polygamy, or you're not into having an open marriage, or just not into having titles, if that's not necessarily you, but you're dealing with a situation where you guys both know that you guys want to be with each other, but maybe you're coming to terms with the fact that you guys are not the one for each other, then that can be the case. A lot of misunderstandings here, saying things that you don't really mean, and or vice versa. But it's gotten to the point now where you can no longer look at the person the same, because you have the Fool card, the Four of Wands, and the Devil that's at the bottom of the deck. And sometimes when you see the Devil, you can feel disgust as an emotion. And so if you are maybe in an on and off relationship, or again, it's just something where you guys are always just verbally attacking each other, which of course strips away the love that you can feel for a person. Like whenever you guys get into an argument, they may throw something back in your face, always trying to hold something maybe also from the past that you may have perceived to have found a resolution for, and you guys have been like, okay, you know, we're gonna truce this one, or we're gonna agree to disagree on this one, but all together you've made up, and so you think that you guys are in a good space, yet and still whenever there is any sort of conflict, or you guys have any sort of disagreements, then they are prone to bringing that back up, or maybe something that they didn't necessarily do to you or were a part of as far as your life is concerned, but maybe trying to throw your history in your face. I'm getting sex worker. So if you were like a sex worker, or you had some sort of a criminal past, because you know Geminis are often known to be the con artist because they're also associated with the magician card. So the Gemini, as far as an archetype and as far as the type of persona that they are attached to, it's the person on the street that tells you to come up and you have to figure out which cup has the piece of money or whatever underneath it for the prize. So that's that type of thing. Then that's the type of situation that you can be dealing with, where they constantly bring your past up and throw it in your face. And so that kind of makes you feel unloved, you know what I'm saying? Or make you feel shameful, but it's a tactic at the end of the day. Again, touching on this Gemini energy, these 2 3s here. But the more unevolved aspect of a Gemini, right? Because these are lower level court cards anyway, so it's not the most mature energy that you're sitting in. But it's a tactic at the end of the day for them to be able to keep you in a position where you feel like who you have and where you are is as good as it's gonna get, type of thing. But all this person does is use and abuse and or mistreat you. I definitely feel like you guys are at that breaking point, or you have been pushed really close to the edge. And if you don't cuss this person out, you can altogether explode or just do something that is really heinous with the devil energy. Like busting somebody's window out of their car, slashing tires, like wanting to do something to get back at this person. Because you have the Fool there, and it is one of the major arcanas, this is the opportunity for you to really show just how good of a person that you are, and not let this person break your spirit, you know what I'm saying? Or let them see you sweat, or show them that they have gotten to you in any sort of way. This is the time for you to be the bigger person and to just cut your losses, you know? And it's going to take a minute for you to recover, especially if you were emotionally invested, which some of you guys were. But at the end of the day, if this person is not going to be understanding and or compassionate and can't sympathize with you and truly be there to support you and or uplift and empower you, and makes you feel like they are enhancing your life, then they're a hindrance, you know what I'm saying? And it's not going to do anything but try to tear you down. I feel like this person is jealous of you. Some people tend to get into relationships with people that have a lot of oppositions in their chart, or the dynamic just has a lot of oppositions as far as the synastry of the chart is concerned. And so you can often be tied to people that don't know how to regulate their own emotions, and so they very often will deflect or project onto you, you know what I'm saying? And or they come into your life because they admire in the beginning an attribute that you have that they don't naturally possess, but then they come to resent you for it because that's not something that they are just innately able to do. And even when they practice, it takes an exponential amount of energy for them to be able to do what you do at the capacity that you do it, and as consistently as you do it. You Virgos are very consistent, especially when it comes to love, once you've decided on who you want to be with. And so that can start to cause this person to look at you as somebody that they're competing with. When you get this Wands energy, it can sometimes feel like you're in competition with those in your environment. And that's not healthy in a dynamic, right? Because you guys are supposed to be equals. But I don't see that it's been like that for a while now. So a lot of you guys are in that space where you are considering, you know, breaking ties and just going your own separate ways. If you're single, you are right now in a process where you are healing. And it's going to take time. Time heals all wounds. You just need to, be gentle with yourself and really speak into existence at this time the type of love that you know that you need now that you've gotten out of something that was unfavorable to you, where you just came out of it feeling a lot more empty and or lonely, even in the presence of the person that you spent your time with, and or just making sure that you're calling in like-minded individuals that want the same type of dynamic that you're looking for, and that you guys are also very heavily vested into your sexual health as well. Like, if you're going towards polygamy or being in an open relationship, you just want to make sure that you're calling in people that are also consenting individuals, so that you can stop with the entanglement and or the enmeshment and or the confusion that can come through when you're trying to maybe persuade somebody to try a lifestyle that's just not for them. And so at this time, it's you having to know that at the end of the day, there was purpose in the heartbreak. Because if you decided to stay in the situationship maybe that you were in, you definitely wouldn't be as happy as you are now, even though there are still periods where you can feel down and sad and solemn. You know what I'm saying? You're still in a better position because at the end of the day, you're not being lied on or lied to any longer. You know what I'm saying? You're not being strung along. You know what I mean? There is no miscommunication because the only direct line of communication you have is with yourself and source. So this is an opportunity for you singles to really get in touch with source in the relationship that you have with that above, and seeing just how well you can mirror out what you're feeling internally in your external environment to be in more favorable dynamics as far as relationships are concerned here. But for singles, I definitely feel like you're not really concerned with love. You're spending you're spending more of your time around your friends and just your support group. They're helping you greatly at this time, or they can. So don't be afraid to lean on your friends and ask them for advice, but only take the advice of those that have actually practiced what they have preached. You know what I'm saying? If you know that one of your friends is more sexually liberated and just cannot have a healthy relationship to save their life, hear what they have to say, and take it into consideration without taking it to heart. But I wouldn't necessarily apply what they're saying. If they're telling you, oh, you need to do this and oh, you need to do that, but they don't have the results to show for it, they would not be the best sounding board at this time. Let's see if there's anything for career though before we tune out. But yeah, you learn what love is by being in situations where you come to understand what love isn't. So that's the thing. Money, you have the 6 of coins in reverse. Uh-oh, I'm hearing trouble in paradise with money. You have the 8 of wands. So some of you guys are incurring great losses. If you are in the health or medical field, you do something that is more centered around things that are organic in nature. Maybe you have your own business or private practice, or maybe you've been working a 9-to-5 just in a service industry, because that is what the 6 is all about, Virgos. That's your house. I definitely feel like you guys are losing a job. You might have to file for employment, or you took a risk, a gamble, and invested your money into a certain stock. But I feel like with this 8 of wands here, you're losing that money or recently lost that money. Yeah, you have the death card here. You have the 6 of wands and the death card. So it definitely hurts. It hurts the pockets because it sets you back. You have the ace of coins at the bottom of the deck. But you learned tremendously about the business and whatever it is that you just failed at. So at the end of the day, you still do come out a winner. It's all about training yourself to see the perspective and to find the silver lining. You have the King of Cups behind that here. So I feel like going forward, you guys are definitely going to be a little bit more cautious about where you're investing your money. But also you're going to be a little bit more intentional about what field you see yourself working in. Because for some of you guys, you've been working harder than you have smarter. And so you're tired of going against the grain and building resistance in your life. You're going to take the path less traveled or something that is a little bit more easier. And that's where you learn as far as, is it the trine or the sextile? Is it the sextiles? I think it's the trine. If you have a trine in your natal chart, that means that these are gifts and talents that you have that are natural and come easy to you, and often are unconscious. Like you do them and don't even know that this is something to be admired, right? And or something that you have great potential in growing. So don't overlook those things that come easier to you. I think I brought that conversation up in a Capricorn reading one time, because I feel like for them, they have to feel like they're earning their position, but sometimes that's not the case. You know, you can still put in your 10,000 hours, but you should be following the thing that really comes second nature to you at this time. You will still have challenges in what you're doing, but you're not beating a dead horse. And I feel like whatever you've been doing lately, it's been more so that, where you feel like you're just beating a dead horse and things will just never turn around and or look up. But that's because you're looking in the wrong direction. Okay? And or you're just looking at your money matters and or the thing that you're doing right now in the wrong way, as far as the wrong direction. Right? And that needs to be revised. So maybe with the work that you're currently in, you're not as thorough as you could be. So people could be leaving bad reviews as far as your business if you are self-employed. But again, this is just an opportunity for you to take that feedback, right? Even if it comes across as negative, not everybody has tact and diplomacy when they're expressing how a certain situation makes them feel. But at the end of the day, it's something that you can look at and be like, hey, you know what? I really could do this better. So I appreciate them being bold enough and courageous enough to tell me so I can fix it while I have the opportunity to, before I lose all of my business and or all of my clientele. So it's you having to lose your pride in certain situations when it comes to who you are helping at the end of the day, because no matter what you do, you are in servitude of somebody, whether you're working for corporate America or you are your own boss. At the end of the day, you have customers, you know what I'm saying? And they have to be tended to. It has to come off as if you actually care about what you're doing and or how you intend to help them. So that's really what's coming through for money, you guys. So just be very careful with what you spend right now. Don't go all out or like be trying to shop online or do anything like that. With the economy, especially if you don't know when you will be returning back to work, you really need to make sure that you have a buffer and you have something put away in a savings account for a rainy day. Because outside of this, things can go on or happen, like with your vehicle. If you have a mode of transportation, you know what I'm saying? You can fall ill. So maybe some of you guys have been out of work because of your health. Even if you don't have corona, you can have come down with something that has put you out of work, or have gotten hurt or injured recently, and that has put you out of work. And so nobody can ever know for certain when something like that is going to happen that causes such an inconvenience. But as long as you have that buffer, then there's nothing to worry about. So try to alleviate the stress that you can tend to cause, right? Things that are self-inflicted, by just doing your due diligence beforehand and just making sure, again, that you're thinking ahead. All right, but that's what I have for you, Virgos. So if this reading resonated, give me a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family, subscribe if you haven't, and book with me should you need to. But if I don't hear from you, then please just take care of yourself and soul until you see me again. Ciao.